A couple of days ago, I talked about my thoughts concerning Tom Hanks announcing that he had the coronavirus, that he and his wife both had the coronavirus in Australia. And again, my suspicion always is with Hanks, that he is the point man for a lot of the deep down dark stuff, that the psyop stuff that is churned out to us. He is knee deep in the hoopla. He is a glow in the dark. He glows in the dark. That man, Tom Hanks. And again, it's just my suspicions, my feeling about him, having followed his career, being cognizant of the kind of roles that he's usually assigned to play, and the role that he seems to play, generally speaking, in American public life. How he has this kind of nice guy vibe about him, good guy vibe about him. You know, he's always the hero. He's always the guy who, from humble beginnings, fairly humble background, who rises up and does what must be done to signal what we should be applauding for, whether it be the good war or the normalization of homosexuality. And I'm talking about Saving Private Ryan and Philadelphia, respectively there. But there are plenty of other such cases. And I wanted to just say a few more things about this announcement, which he made over social media a couple of days ago, that he has the coronavirus down, and he's down under in Australia, on the other side of the world, the bottom of the world. And as it were, no offense to Australians watching this, but just geographically speaking, this is how it's generally thought of, as this kind of remote location, full of the wilds of the outback and so forth. But I wanted to say a couple more things about certain striking details, because again, this story, just to me, it seems to me that there's more, that it's not what it appears to us. It seems to be an effort to try to sell us something, an effort to try to produce a reaction or response in us, propagandistically speaking. And again, this is just my impression based on what I know of the man, what I've heard about the man, some of the rumors that I've heard. And all of this I'm speaking as an outsider, but nevertheless speaking from the gut. So here's a couple of interesting things about Hanks's career. As I said, normally he plays the nice guy, the good guy. I guess in Toy Story he was the hero, but he was kind of this hapless do-gooder kind of hero. I'm not sure how that ties in with everything. I know that his voice acting in Toy Story for the character of Woody is a big part of his career. That's kind of up for grabs for me as far as that goes. Early on in his career, of course, he was promoting transvestitism. Now I chuckle when I say this because the show Bosom Buddies, I mean, it's not really a show. It's a show that's hard for me to take seriously as any kind of social engineering effort. But the fact is, there it was. He and whoever that other guy were. I mean, it was a ridiculous premise. They had to find somewhere to stay, so they stayed in a girls' boarding home and pretended to be girls, dressed up as Buffy and Hildegard, wore wigs, and it was so stupid. But people liked the show. People thought it was funny. And you know, I mean, I suppose that the drag tradition goes back a ways, and it's not necessarily an evidence or instance of a psyop. But in the case of Tom Hanks, I just don't know. Okay. Also, I don't know what to say about Splash, his role in Splash. I've actually never seen the movie. Some acknowledgement of the elemental forces of the sea. Daryl Hannah as the mermaid who he falls in love with. I don't know, some kind of revelation of the method there. I don't know. I'm stumped. Big, though, when you look at Big, that's that's a movie that's got some really kind of iffy elements to it, as far as it's about a boy who grows into a man's body, and then has a sexual relationship with a grown woman while he's still a boy. It's a little, there's some things about that movie. I mean, it seemed at the time just to be a sweet little fantasy movie, but similar to Back to the Future, with all of its incest overtones, there's something doesn't entirely sit right with you when you really think about the movie Big. But okay, let's get to the meat of what I'm talking about. What I want to talk about here with respect to this new stuff, this announcement of Hanks as the coronavirus martyr, the coronavirus normalizer, the one who would say to us, look, this virus is, it affects even Tom Hanks, even the everyman, the white middle American type of guy that Hanks always plays. And that's supposed to kind of send a message to the rest of us that if Hanks can get it, then any one of us can get it, and we should be afraid. We should be very afraid, and we should do what the authorities tell us to do, and believe that the authorities have our best interest at heart. Okay. Now, it turns out that Hanks was in Australia to be a part of some movie about Elvis Presley, in which he's playing Colonel Parker. This kind of makes my senses tingle, makes my 6th, 7th, and 8th senses all tingle, makes my third eye open up and squint, because Colonel Parker was a sort of sketchy character. He was Elvis's handler, essentially. And the role that he played in the career of Elvis Presley and Elvis Presley's ultimate fall from grace, his terrible, grotesque fall into drug addiction and obesity and death. What role did Colonel Parker play in all of that? So if Tom Hanks was going to play this guy in this movie that I think has been either canceled or postponed now due to the Wu flu manifesting itself, then that strikes me as interesting, because it shows Hanks as a handler, which is not the type of role that you usually see Hanks playing in these movies. Usually, as I said, he's the plucky hero. He's like the Jimmy Stewart guy from small town, good guy with a good heart, stepping up to do the right thing. He's that sort of mythic archetype. But now in this film, he's playing, apparently, or he was going to be playing, this evil, sinister, dubious, sketchy handler sort of character. And what that made me think of is the movie That Thing You Do, which was from the late 90s, I believe. It was a movie that he I think directed, Tom Hanks, that he wrote and directed, if I'm not mistaken. And it was about a band that rose out of nowhere and became this one-hit wonder. They were called The Wonders, and they had a song, That Thing You Do, which was actually, I believe, written by the guys from Fountains of Wayne. And it's a great song. It's a very power pop sounding. If you're into power pop, this is it's a very very clean, pure power pop anthem. But in that movie, Tom Hanks played their manager. So he was their handler. He was the guy who managed their careers, managed what they were going to look like, what they were going to dress like, how they were going to appear on stage. All the kind of stuff that Colonel Parker, all the same kind of role that Colonel Parker played in Elvis's career. So with these kinds of roles, Colonel Parker and the role that he played in That Thing You Do, is this us being shown the sinister real face of Tom Hanks? Tom Hanks as the user, as the abuser, as the handler. And does that tie in, the fact that he was playing this role when he allegedly got this disease, and then just happened to go on social media and talk about how he had gotten this disease in this seemingly noble gesture, when really he could have just kept it to himself and just got treatment. And but he had to become the coronavirus guy, the representation of the coronavirus, of the coronavirus spreading to Middle America, even though it was ostensibly spreading to Australia. Why were they making a movie about Elvis in Australia? That's another weird thing. I don't know. These are all some thoughts, not entirely random thoughts, but thoughts that I wanted to share, and I'm interested to hear what anybody else has to say about it. My name's Andy Nowicki. You can check out my work at altrightnovelist.com or lowstatusnovelist.blogspot.com. Thank you.